F, 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 F. And I got to say the last two fast. F, 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 F. Right? So, and I say, you make a guess as to what the last two F's stand for. But let me move on. Let me move on to this matter. As I said, evidence of crisis in the Ghana police force. Lots and lots of evidence. What am I talking about? We learned some time ago there, last week or before the last, this big spot with the deputy commissioner. Well, by now we know it's Karimbash because based on the statement he made and all of that, he was the person who called, but he tried to justify his intervention. He called during the course of this operation. And let me, y'all sit back and take note. Because I on social media, a lot of people come in and they're saying all kind of things. They're speaking about things that they don't know about, right? And they talk about all kind of things on the social media. When you look at the comments, people that know. So y'all sit back, right? As I've said before repeatedly, let me put in this disclaimer: we are not lawyers. We are retired senior police officers, well-trained senior police officers, and therefore we have the experience and the authority to speak on issues like this. We're also, both of us were members of the Police Service Commission. I was the chairman. CC was a member of that commission. So we know what we're talking about. We know. So the talk, let me play first of all, this the thing with it, well, I ain't gonna go back to the incident where the rank who claimed to be a police answered the phone to the anti-crime people, and then the voice, we know that. We might see a part of it in this tape as well. But let me see, hold on, let me try to find it. Let me try to find it. Don't tell me it is not here. Hold on. It looks as though that thing is not up here at the moment. So let me ask CC. Well, let me say this. I'm gonna go through some other stuff, and I don't know how I did not load up this thing. I don't know. So let me check, because I really want to start with you seeing this interview that the commissioner was at an interview, and it's a Royston Drake's production where some statements were made, right, by the commissioner. And apparently the statement made by the commissioner caused a reaction from the deputy commissioner. Y'all bear with me, I can find it. I really don't want to start this thing without giving y'all the context in which this thing is made, right? I don't want to start it without giving y'all the context, but somehow it is not loaded. So y'all bear with me. Let me try to load it. It's gonna take it should take about a minute or so. If so long, I'm gonna load it, and I want to play it first for y'all to hear what transpired. I don't know how I did not play the thing. I might have deleted it as well. I might have deleted it. But let me bring in CC. CC gonna have a say, and I'm gonna try to find this this tape. Let me look once more to see if it is loaded. I'm gonna try to find it and play it. I don't know how that happened. But you know, these things do happen. In the best regulated family, these things do happen. I don't think it is here. So CC, let me bring you in to take over. Let me try and find this thing, man. Go ahead. Let me bring you in. Go ahead.
All right, I'll give you enough time to find it. And let me put things in proper context, where discipline or investigations of acts of misconduct or criminal acts by members of the force and the investigation. I want to make it clear that if it is an allegation of a criminal offense, anybody could investigate. A constable could investigate a deputy commissioner, as the case may be, if it's criminal. But the protocol is, or what has been going on is that when you do an investigation, you don't allow a junior man to investigate a senior person criminally. We don't allow it. It's a matter of practice. It's not a matter of law, but it's a matter of practice that you don't allow a junior person to investigate. As in this case, either you have in Karambash, you have the head of the OPR. I don't know if he's investigating, but the next man in line is a assistant superintendent on probation. So you would like to have an assistant superintendent on probation calling a deputy commissioner and say, "Come to my office. I have a matter I'm investigating." Or a superintendent calling a deputy commissioner and say, "Hey, come, let me investigate this matter." It's a matter of practice. I mean, they can do it, but the principle is that hey, you don't do that. And under the Police Discipline Act, if you're going to investigate that for acts of indiscipline, well then the act is clear that every alleged commission of a breach of discipline shall be investigated as soon as practicable by a member of the force not below the rank of a sergeant and of a higher rank than the rank who is alleged to have committed the offense. So in the Police Act, you're dealing with discipline. It's sergeant upwards or a higher rank than the rank who is alleged to have committed the offense. As I mentioned, the protocol is well established that if a senior person going to investigate, whether it's a criminal, if it's a criminal matter, that you don't allow a junior. But there's nothing in law to tell you well, there's it's not a matter of law, it's a matter of practice. Good. Here we go. Now, if you have the deputy commissioner of police and you investigate him under the Police Discipline Act for acts of misbehavior, there's a thing that you got that will trigger the police, the not the police, the Article 214. I'm gonna read it of the police of the Constitution of Guyana. It's talking about investigation. 214.4 saying the provision of Article 225, which relates to the removal from office, shall, in the office of the Commissioner of Police, the prescribed authority for the purpose of Para 4 of that article shall be the Prime Minister or the Chairman of the Police Service Commission for the purpose of Para 4 of what shall be the Police Service Commission. Para 6, sorry. And Para 6 says, in this article, reference to the office of Deputy Commissioner of Police, a reference to the office, however, style, the rank next in seniority to the police force, after the office of Commissioner of Police, providing that there be more than one office of Deputy Commissioner of Police, and that if there are more than one such office, the holder therefore shall rank among themselves according to the dates of their respective employment. So what this constitution is saying that if it is the commissioner of police, it is the prime minister who will have to initiate action. And for deputy commissioner, it is the police service commission. And what they have to do, they have to write the person to show cause why they should not report to the president that this rank be suspended with a view of being removed from office. Now the thing say that the Police Service Commission in Karamba's case has got to trigger the president. And the president will have to deal with the Judicial Service Commission and ask them or direct them to form a tribunal consisted of one of a judge or somebody who was appointed a judge or will somebody who will has the qualifications to become a judge. So you have a chairman of the thing there and not less than two other persons who would form a tribunal. And that tribunal will meet and recommend to the president whether or not that officer should be removed from office. They sit, and if they recommend that the person be removed from office, sure the president will remove that person. But if during the course of this tribunal meeting, the president can suspend that person pending the outcome of the matter. So we're saying for the investigation to be done, you have to get a tribunal headed by a judge or a former judge or somebody who is qualified to be a judge who had operated in the Commonwealth, and not less than two other persons who would form the tribunal, and the tribunal will report to the president, submit their reports on the facts, recommending whether or not that person should be removed from office. Policy, you were coming on just now.
Yes, thank you for that. But before I go into it, I found the tape that I wanted to use as an introduction. Let me tell you what's going on. Listen to what Bob Marley has to say. Y'all share the live, share. At least hear the first part, here.
See them fighting for power, but they know not the hour.
That is it. They're fighting for power, and they know not the hour. So says Brother Bob. So says Brother Bob. See them fighting for power, and they know not the hour. And I'm saying all this is evidence. All this is evidence of the crisis in the Guyana police force. All this is evidence. Let me play the tape that I was looking for, and then we're going to move from there. Listen to this.
Commissioner of Police Clifton Hicken has ordered the Guyana Police Force's Office of Professional Responsibility to launch a thorough investigation into an anti-crime operation that sparked controversy after allegations surfaced involving Deputy Commissioner of Police Fazal Karimbash. The incident reportedly occurred on May 3rd and involved a senior officer, a police corporal, and a police constable. The probe follows the circulation of a social media video showing a police corporal conducting an anti-crime exercise during which he stopped a heavily tinted vehicle being driven by a woman. According to reports, after the vehicle was stopped, the officer was handed a cell phone. A voice on the line identified as Deputy Commissioner Karimbash allegedly instructed the officer that his focus should be on crime and not traffic-related matters. Hicken made the comment during the police roundup program with Marcia Hope.
Marcy, the Office of Professional Responsibility, has been directed to conduct a thorough investigation into this matter, ensuring that the entirety of this interaction, from the initial stop to its conclusion, is examined, and the police force remain committed to accountability.
Commissioner Hicken said senior officers may intervene in any anti-crime operations, but any intervention must be based on situational awareness and follow established SOPs and standard force orders.
This intervention is concerning because it appears to have been made without verification and outside the chain of command. As anti-crime officers fall under the Deputy Commissioner Operation, Mr. Watts, everybody knows him. While traffic ranks are primarily responsible for stopping vehicles under the Motor Vehicle and Road Traffic Act, anti-crime ranks are also lawfully empowered to stop and search those vehicles during proactive and intelligence-led operation. They stop, search, and detain. These powers are grounded in the Criminal Offences Act and the Summary Jurisdiction Act.
Hicken also stated that the video posted on social media confirmed that the police officer involved in the incident was acting lawfully during the operation.
The Guyana Police Force has mandated the use of body-worn cameras as part of the commitment to transparency, accountability, and evidence-based policing. These devices provide objective real-time evidential support for capturing interaction from start to finish, supporting supervision, investigation, and decision-making based on facts rather than assumptions. In this instance, the footage posted on the media confirmed that the rank was acting lawfully.
The investigation into the matter is ongoing.
Now, I really wanted to get that in, because even in that little statement there that the commissioner made, the man is contradicting himself, because not so long ago, he started at Christmas and they reinforced it. You must stay in your lane. You must stay in your lane. If you are a traffic rank, do traffic work only. If you are a general duty rank, that is what he said. It's on record. So now to come and say that they can, and the man is contradicting himself and causing more confusion in the police force. As we have said repeatedly, any rank, right? Police man has the power to stop, search, and detain. Like, special rank to traffic rank, a special power to traffic, a special power to general duty, and all the type of crap what the commissioner is trying to say. If it is, as we said, they got to exercise their authority and that the law provides them in a responsible manner. If it is that they are doing it irresponsibly, then there's a protocol, what we call the Police Discipline Act, to take action against them, but not to try to take away the powers from the rank. So he said so. All right, having had that, when that was aired, that OPR investigating, listen, follow me closely. I did some thinking about this thing and I made some note. He said OPR investigating. But before I go to the investigation, let me read for you what the same Royston Drakes there did a post about the response. He had some interview with Karimbash, and this is what he says here. This is yesterday, the 14th. Deputy Commissioner of Police Fazil Karimbash has argued that the Office of Professional Responsibility lacks the authority to investigate him because his appointment is constitutional, amid controversy surrounding a police anti-crime operation that was captured on video and circulated on social media. Speaking during a telephone interview with this newscast, Karimbash said Police Commissioner Clifton Akin could not have lawfully directed the OPR to investigate the May 3rd operation, which involved the Deputy Commissioner, a police corporal, and a police constable. Karimbash maintained that the OPR is mandated to investigate misconduct among junior police ranks, specifically for the level, especially from the level of sergeant downwards. The probe follows the circulation of a social media video showing a police corporal conducting an anti-crime exercise during which he stopped a heavily tinted vehicle being driven by a woman. According to reports, after the vehicle was stopped, the officer was handed a cellular phone. A voice on the line, identified as Deputy Commissioner Karimbash, allegedly instructed the officer, well, no, allegedly. Bryson, you must be careful. I know you are trying to play safe. We are the voice and alleged of the voice instructed. We all are the instructed. Instructed the officer to focus on crime rather than traffic-related matters. King made the comment during a police roundup program with Marcia Oak. He said that a senior officer in the Guyana Police Force, he asked the authority to intervene in any action taken by a junior ranks that breaches administrative policy, instructions, or standard operation procedures, SOPs. According to the Deputy Commissioner, in this case, there was an administrative instruction issued by the Commissioner himself that anti-crime ranks should not be involved in enforcing traffic laws. Karimbash, however, said that both he and the junior officer involved in the incident filed reports with OPR, which subsequently triggered the investigation. He also stated that the video circulated on social media confirmed that the police officers involved in the incident, or the police officer involved in the incident, was acting lawfully during the operation. You see, contradiction after contradiction, contradiction after contradiction. He comes here to say that anti-crime rank should not be involved in this thing. We saw that on the tape. But then he said the ranks were acting, the rank was acting lawfully and all of that. Now, let me move into it in more detail. Let me go into it in more detail. Karimbash is saying, first of all, he said that it's because he said they can't investigate him because his appointment is constitutional. Mr. Karimbash, Deputy Commissioner, all the appointments are constitutional. From corporal right up to commissioner, all are constitutional. Because the Constitution says the commissioner can appoint from lance corporal up to sergeant, so it's constitutional once the appointment is made. And it says the Police Service Commission can appoint from inspector to assistant commissioner. It is constitutional, therefore. And the president, having gone through a certain process, can appoint deputy commissioner and commissioner. So when you say because your appointment is constitutional, all of the appointments, including, well, let me say this, the ones that are not constitutional are the ones that the president got up in July last year, suddenly got a brainwave and they went to the police officers' mess, which resulted in 2,800 and something promotion. That is unconstitutional, because there's no way in any constitution, or the Constitution of Guyana, where you can find that the president has the powers to promote or order anyone to be promoted. So that is unconstitutional. That, not the promotions that are made by the commissioner, from Lance Corporal to Sergeant, by this Police Service Commission, having gone through the process from Inspector to Assistant Commissioner. They're all constitutional appointments. The unconstitutional appointment would have been the ones, and you remember, let me remind you, Mr. Karim Bash, because when officers were promoted during the absence, when the life of the Police Service Commission had come to an end, it's higher in the administration say that the commission had made the appointments since January or February last year. When your promotions were made around February, just around the time of the officers' conference, and people were named, the list was put out, and those names that later come weren't there. But I tell people, oh, the commission had made those since before they expired. Lies. So like when these things come, so I can analyze and bring it to the attention of the students. Analyze, yeah, share, because I'm going to this thing more. I'm going to it more. Let me tell you all further. He said he cannot be investigated, and you're looking at the comments on social media. People say, well, if he can't be investigated, then he's above the law. OPR can investigate the deputy commissioner. Let me understand this thing clearly. OPR can investigate. It depends on what they are investigating. And that wasn't made clear by the commissioner. He said they're investigating. What are they investigating? And I say here, I make a note, right? I made a note. What are they investigating? Is it a case they are investigating a misconduct in public office? Is it a case that they are investigating perverting the course of justice? We assume that it's a discipline investigation, and if it is a disciplinary investigation, then yes, they cannot investigate. But OPR, the Office of Professional Responsibility, is a section in the police force manned by policemen, and they all have the powers to investigate. Investigate crimes in particular, crimes. They can investigate crime. And if the commissioner deems that the action amounted to a misconduct in public office, what we see on the tape there, then they can investigate. If it amounts to the perverting the course of justice, because the men, though he said, send them away, perverting the course of justice, right, can be that they're investigating. And then they would have the full legal authority to so do. But you see, they come with all of these statements, oh my God. And then, as CC pointed out earlier, if it is a disciplinary matter, then they can't investigate. Even the commissioner can't investigate. Because if we go back to Article 211 of the Constitution, which deals with the appointments of commissioner and deputy commissioner, it is clear that the commissioner of police and deputy commissioners of police are appointed by the president after meaningful consultation with the leader of the opposition. The president also has to consult with the chairman of the Police Service Commission, who has to first consult with the other members of the commission. That is the Constitution, Article 211. Y'all go and read it. And the sad thing, when you have senior police officers at the level of a commissioner of police and the level of a deputy commissioner of police come out and talk all that balderdash. I tell you all, the police force is in crisis, right? The police force is in crisis, right? So let me understand it. So the appointments are made under Article 211. When it comes to removal from office, the same thing tell you that in case of the commissioner, and they tell you can be removed for being unable to perform his duty or for misconduct in office, and then they spell out the process. It says Article 225, and it tells us for the purpose of the commissioner, if you want to take action against the commissioner, then the person to trigger that is the Prime Minister, Lion Mark Phillips. And it's not the individual as prime minister, it's the office of prime minister has to trigger that mechanism to remove the commissioner, remove the discipline. For deputy commissioners, for that process to be triggered, is the Police Service Commission to trigger that process. And CC pointed it out to you. What happens, I ain't gonna go through it again, about the involvement of the Judicial Service Commission, involvement of the tribunal, and all of that. We know that well because that was part of our argument when the same president decided to suspend members of the Police Service Commission that I chaired. When he decided to do that, that's one of the grounds we made. Because the Article 225 is clear, crystal clear. It has to go through a process. You have to have the referral, which the Prime Minister did. But then once you went that route, and that's the only route, there's the only legal route, then the police, the Judicial Service Commission has to make certain recommendation for the president. And based on the recommendation, with the name, then the president put together a tribunal to inquire into this thing. At the time when they also said suspending us, there was no Judicial Service Commission. I remember the judge, when he finally ruled in our favor, made the point that the fact that there was no Judicial Service Commission was the president's burden to bear. Because they argue, well, there was no Judicial Service Commission, and then they talk about necessity. The judge said, no, the fact that there was no Police Service Commission for you to comply with Article 225 of the Constitution is your burden to bear, is you got to appoint them. Right? So you can, on the one hand, not appoint them, and then when the matter gets to court, say, well, there's no Service Commission. There's no Judicial Service Commission. So again, I say it all depends. That has not been made clear. We assume that, and assuming is a bad thing to do. I remember it was Kenneth Denny, I think it was, the trade unionist, came to do lecture to us at the junior officer course in 1980, and he told the word SSUME, assume. He said, if you take out the A, right, you get, you say assume. You take out the ass, you get you. You take out the next one, you get me. So you're making an ass out of you or me, something like that. Some of y'all might know it. So we assume, a lot of people assume that, hey, it has to do with some discipline, not necessarily, because one can argue and one can pursue the path that Karim Bash, in that interaction, perverted the course of justice, which is a criminal offense. And anybody can investigate that, including the last joint constable. They can also argue that his conduct amounted to a misconduct in public office, and anybody can investigate that. So don't jump out and make big nice, and he appointed by the he's a constitutional appointment, and also other crap that has come under the staff. All type of nonsense. So again, I get something more to speak on. I'm bringing CC just now. The point I am making is that the confusing thing, and one of the reasons why I decided that, look, let me come and explain this thing. Because when you look at the comments on social media, a lot of the comments are misguided. People don't understand how the system works. They don't understand how the system works, right? So, again, let me deal with it logically. If you're saying a crime is committed and because you're a deputy commissioner, because you're a commissioner, then it puts you above the law. It means, therefore, that it can do whatever you want to do, and nobody can commit any crime, and nobody can investigate him, which is not so. You can't investigate under the Police Discipline Act, Chapter 17:1, which says, Section 5.3, that any allegation of breach of discipline must be investigated by a person not less a rank than a sergeant. And in any event, the person who is the investigating officer must be of a higher rank than the person who is alleged to have committed the offense. Right? So it simply means that if you're a deputy commissioner, you have fall under them, because there is nobody who can investigate. Who is senior to deputy commissioner? The commissioner. So even if, let's carry it even further. Even if you say, all right, the commissioner is senior to a deputy commissioner, so he can investigate. Who can try the case? Who can present and who can try the case? We had a similar incident some years ago when Roy was Minister of Home Affairs. And Ramnarine, David Ramnarine, was an assistant commissioner. And Bromell was the commissioner. Roy was going after Ramnarine viciously because Ramnarine, it was around 2011, 2012. Ramnarine had exposed certain things that they didn't give them money and so on. And Roy decided that Ramnarine must get trouble. Right? I remember I saw those things where at the time they had no deputy commissioner, none. Right? And Roy wanted him to be disciplined. And Bromell quietly wrote to say, well, look, he can't be disciplined in the current situation because there's no deputy commissioner, right? There's no deputy commissioner. And then later on, when deputy commissioners were appointed, Roy right again said, now that we get deputy commissioner, take action against him. And again, he had to be reminded that the commissioner of police can't take action against the assistant commissioner. That has to be this word, that is the duty of the police service commission. So I say these things and give you these examples for you to understand what is going on, for you to be wiser on what is going on. Let me move on though. That's what they're investigating, right? Now, I go on to say, he said, it can say, that the two anti-crime ranks were acting lawfully. He said, it can also stated that the video circulating on social media confirmed that the police officers involved in the incident, the police officer, involved in the incident was acting lawfully during the operation. So what are you investigating? What as again, the commissioner said that the rank there who we saw on the tape was acting lawfully during the operation. So who then you're investigating? If you're acting lawfully, is Karim Bashi investigating? But what are you investigating him for? And bear in mind, up to now, we know what happened to this constable with this heavily tinted vehicle and who did not have a driver's license and who had what they call obscure number plate. You hear nothing about that. We are not hearing anything about that. So let me understand, right? Now let me bring in CC at this point, and then I'm going to move to give you examples of this crisis that we're talking about, right? Let me bring in CC. CC, go ahead and take a little more batting, man. I really want to tell them about the evidence about the crisis. Go ahead.
All right. I just want to make it simple and put it in proper context from the beginning. All members of the force took an oath of office. Section 13.1, we all took an oath of office. The commissioner took an office before the president, and every other officer, inspector, constable, zone officer, before an assistant commissioner. And the oath of office is what must be embedded in your mind. 2nd April 1973, I took an oath of office, and they hammered on to me whilst in training, and it stuck with me. I can repeat it. Let me tell you what I say without looking at anything. I, Clinton Conway, do swear that I will well and truly serve the state of Guyana in the office of constable and in such other office in the police force as I may at any time hereafter be appointed to, without favor or affection, malice or ill will, and that I will cause the public peace to be kept and preserved by preventing to the utmost of my power all offenses against the same, and that while I continue to hold any office in the force, I will obey all orders of the persons placed in authority over me, subject myself to all acts and regulations relating to the force, and I will, to the best of my skill and knowledge, discharge all the duties of my office faithfully according to law, so help me God. And that is the oath. And that oath covers 83,000 square miles. Not 83 square miles, 83,000 square miles. The oath of office. And the tag that you will obey all orders of persons placed in authority to you. Subject yourself, and this is important, subject yourself to all acts and regulations relating to the force. He can quote it some acts that doesn't exist. Because if you're quoting act, you got to be specific. Just like I say, Police Act chapter 16:01, he quotes some acts that doesn't exist. And I want to tell him to read certain sections of the Police Act and things like section 14 about rights, powers, etc., of members of the force. Then they talk about your general powers of arrest. I won't read the powers to arrest without warrant, powers to stop, search, and detain aircraft, vessels, and persons, so in circumstances, powers of member of the force in command of police boats. And they talk about setting up road barriers. So there are powers in this police discipline act. Another commissioner will give you that. It's about every member of the force or any member of the force. That's what they talk about. Any member of the force or every member of the force. It doesn't say on instructions of a king or instructions of the commissioner. The law is there. You took the oath. It covers 83,000 square miles, and they tell you exactly in terms of that you got to obey the law. Yeah, and you got to subject yourself to all acts and regulations relating to the force. And it talk about all this kind of thing. The general powers of arrest, powers to stop, search, and detain, yeah? Powers to set up road barriers. They're all in the Police Act, Chapter 16, colon 01. And getting back to the investigation, if you're going to investigate Karimbash or anybody you're going to investigate. But if it's for Karimbash, where the service commissioner's got to write him and tell him he must show cause why they should not report to the president for him to be suspended and for an inquiry to be conducted. He must show cause. And we call it the right to be heard. And the right to be heard, I said over and over again, it started in Genesis. It started in the beginning. In the Bible, started in the beginning when Adam and Eve, unless you've committed themselves, the Lord who was policing them, and God was the first police officer, whether you like it or not. He knew what took place. And he didn't just pass sentence on them. He asked them what play out before he passed sentence. And because he realized that they had picked and ate the forbidden fruit of the poisonous tree. He knew that, but he asked them. And the same thing when you're doing the investigation, you got to hear the other side of the story. You got to ask the person. In this case, if you're dealing with Karambash, you got to ask you to show cause why he should not be suspended and why the matter should not be reported to the president for action to be taken against him. That's how all the things should be. And the bottom line is that you got to hear the other side of the story before you pass judgment. So the processes, I'll repeat them, so the process is the police service commission has got to trigger the action for the president to take action and for the president to contact the judicial service commission and for them to set up a tribunal which will investigate the matter and submit the recommendation to the president, and the president will act on it one way or the other. That in simple terms is what ought to happen.
Now, right now, well said. Now let me move on. As I said, we're presenting evidence to you this afternoon to show the crisis in the police force. You know, as Bob Marley said, they're fighting for power, but they know not the hour. So that's what's going on. It's a power fight, you know. Power fight, because a lot of people they're gonna tell you believe that Aiken should have gone his way. He passed retirement age. He's there holding them back, and therefore they can't come out and say so, given how vicious the system is. But they don't respect him. Commissioner come in a statement, and the deputy commissioner come and say the commissioner lied. That is basically what he said. The commissioner lied. He didn't order any investigation. Karimbash is saying, let me repeat here, according to Rice and Drakes. Karimbash is saying he and the junior officers involved in the incident filed reports with the OPR, which subsequently triggered the investigation. So basically saying this statement made by Aiken that he has ordered the OPR to investigate, he's saying his lie. That is why he's saying his lie. Right? So let me move on. Evidence of crisis in the police force. I remember a man named, well, the same commissioner, $8.5 million he took from a businessman, Amir Ahmad. That is not an allegation. That is what he wrote in his statement, that he took $8.5 million in his office. He said he been in one envelope. Me, I know there's a big ass envelope, 8.5 million Guyana dollars. And he said was to finance the wedding of Calvin Brutus. That is a statement he made. You want to tell me there's not a crisis situation? But the commissioner of police can admit to taking 8.5. Jagdio said it's what? Reprehensible. Reprehensible. But he got promoted. Y'all remember Calvin Brutus? The assistant commissioner in charge of administration. And these things that I'm telling you is just within the past couple of years, since Ikin sit down there. I'm not going to go further back. Since Ikin has been sitting as the man in charge. So you get Brutus, 200 and something criminal charges before the court. 262 or something like that. Criminal charges in front of the court. This the de facto second in command of the police force. Y'all remember that? One of the charges, they accuse him of thieving some 60 million Guyana dollars. 60 million. And the information, it is alleged that this $60 million was set to be money to repair the police consumers co-op on Rob Street. The manager of the police consumer co-op, this is part of the allegation that they said, was instructed to write a check for $60 million to encash the check and to take the money and hand the money to Brutus. It is further alleged that having done that, having written the check, having changed the check, she took the money to Brutus. At the time, Brutus was in the commissioner's office. The money was handed over to Brutus in the presence of the commissioner. That is the allegation. That is what they charge you for. That is what they charge you for. You want to tell me that is not crisis? That is not crisis? In the same Brutus matter, he's charged with misconduct or something like that in relation to several checks that were drawn on the police central welfare fund. The man who was in charge of the finance office, Superintendent Prasad, write this check from the fund and give it to Brutus, right? And then the charge, because they said that was improper, the check should not have been drawn from the police central welfare fund to pay Brutus for allegedly for services rendered. Again, I made the point. How come the man who had the finance office, how come no action was taken against him? Well, he in charge of finance, he know that he can't draw a check for the police central welfare fund for pay Brutus. The woman in charge of the police consumers rate, she know that she can in cash check as was instructed and carry the money and give the money to Brutus. They may know that. And those people are still in position, still in the same positions. As a matter of fact, if my information is correct, they both have been promoted since crisis in the Guyana police force. Let me tell you all more. Y'all remember the discovery of the 4.4 tons of cocaine in Region 1? The discovery of 4.4 tons of cocaine. And this is not what I am saying. What happened? It is said that at the time of the operation, the GDF Special Forces, the Customs Anti-Narcotics Unit, and the DEA from the America were involved, right, in this operation. Not a single police, including the Commissioner of Police, not a single police that didn't have enough confidence to tell the Commissioner of Police about this operation before. They didn't even tell the commander before. It's while the operation, when they uncover the cocaine, then they bring they send for the commander and so on. Why you believe that was done like that? They get confidence in them, or perhaps they know more. That is why, because it is said that this operation was a US-led operation. They do the monitoring and the cocaine and all this everything, and then they decide for thing now. Even when the cocaine was unearthed, and Robeson, Shoot and Scoot Ben, the Minister of Affairs, took in people into the location, flew them into the journalists and so on. You don't carry a single police. You don't carry the man in charge of operations. You don't carry the commissioner. You don't carry the deputy commissioner law enforcement. Not a single police was taken. Why? Because of the crisis in the police force. Because of the crisis. And I saw later the MNATSA, who, I don't know if as a result of that, senior police officer in charge of Regional Police Division 1 at the time when this cocaine was found, removed from there. The man is sanctioned by the government as a drug trafficker. Let me repeat that. You have a senior police officer, senior superintendent, if that's sanctioned by the US government for trafficking in narcotics. And you want to tell me there ain't no crisis in the police force? You honestly want to tell me that there ain't no crisis in the police force? Right? Let me go further. Let me tell you some further. You had the issue in Region 1, police rank, with AK-47 licking shot around the place. What does that matter? They say OPRD investigating. Have we heard anything further about that investigation? Have we heard anything further about that investigation? Let me go. They get allegations too, or at least an allegation of a big fraud in Region 1. Fraud in Region 1. They sent in ransom Soku to investigate. When the ranks touched down, they were told, as you were, excuse me, they were told to return without conducting the investigation. That's Region 1. You had the same commander of Region 1, Krishna Ramana, arresting a lawyer, Tamika Clark, who's now a magistrate, because she advised her client either not to sign or not to give a statement to the police. She was arrested. The lady sued. The court found the police liable, the state liable, and awarded damages and so on. What happened? The man get promotion, man. The man get you want to tell me they ain't got a crisis in the police force? Let me give you more evidence of this crisis that I'm talking about. Right? You get in the same division, remember? Region 1, headed by Christian Ramana. Right? We had the allegation that a police corporal Prasad was involved in a relationship with a 15-year-old underage female. What happened? What happened with her? Nothing happened. They cover it up. They cover. Nothing happened to the matter. The man was still about there. For all I know, he must get promotion at the end. Right? Let me tell you more. The other same allegation, we still up on Region 1, where it was alleged that the commander had an inappropriate relationship with a junior rank. The type of relationship that the Minister of Home Affairs said when we were looking at that allegation in training school is against the Sexual Offences Act because of the power disparity. Minister of Home Affairs is on record as saying that what has happened. It is alleged that the wife intervened, the rank was transferred to some place that wasn't suitable for women, and then the rank decided that she can come to town or go somewhere and make a complaint. She was taken off a plane. That is the allegation. Did they investigate that? She was taken off the plane. They want she come and invest and make a report. But the woman used some other means and got it. So what happened to that matter? You all want to tell me that there's not a crisis in the police force? Right? Let me tell you some more. I'm going to bring in CC just now. I got 2 tapes to show, but one of them, the tape that got to show, get a little gunshot. So I don't know if it's going to violate YouTube community protocol and so on. So I ain't going to show it yet. I'm going to show you all later. Right? I ain't showing you yet. I'm going to show you later. You got the you got Region 2. Region 2. Where recently a man alleging that the police take away money, 800,000 Guyana dollars. I could show the one. Listen to this. Listen to what? Listen to this, man. Y'all share the life. Share the life. I'll be talking about crisis, evidence of crisis in the Guyana police force. Listen to what this man has to say.
Very day, but I got all thing about it. But we stop at the school what they call Lilydale. Suddenly we see a boat pull up. They claim they're the police. They claim they are the police, you understand? And they come. Instead of they do anything and ask me why they carry nothing, they say they want to see my bag. They check my bag, they see the X amount of money inside, they see the gold inside. You understand? And when they see that, the first thing they don't check nothing else. They don't check nothing else. That is all. They say you got to go into the boat. And I had my auntie with me because she's sick. You understand? Because I bring she across the side here because she's sick. You understand? For say she check a doctor or what's the case may be. Yeah. Now, I asked them, what's the problem? What me really got in this boat? What me got in here? They said, but how no workers ain't supposed to got them amount of money and them amount of gold from them. So I asked them, I said, man, if a worker in this place in Guyana use a national, you use a Guyanese, you work for your money. Wait tell me, if me get 1 million or $10 million, you gotta left half back them and walk it half. Because you can't understand that. So anyway, they said jump in. That is from 1:30 till go down the carry back down till in Aberdeen. Then got big gun running all over me. Because they're running behind somebody. Yeah. Come up back, I said, man, this lady not feeling good. This lady still sick. You understand? Anyway, they said, all right, we go deal with that by the station. We come by the station. Then I even ask me for identification card. Then I ask me nothing. Then take a statement. Then take nothing from me. All what they want is the money. What you got? They want $1 million from me. I tell them, man, this over there's too much money. How me go give you $1 million, man? There's too much money for me, and this is legal working money. I work for, you understand? Yes. In that, they say, well, we are gonna come to a point. I said, man, the only thing we could give you because it's share you. I said, man, if I want the money, me could give her 200,000. Me want to go home. That's all because after all these months in bush, I want to go home. I want to see my family. Plus, my auntie sick. I got to get you to a hospital. Was the case maybe. Man, he said, hello on me, tell me, but how me not supposed to tell you, then think this and all kind of thing. I said, all right. I said, but what is the problem? What me get in charge for? Because if you want to know the truth of the story, watch, the goal is right here. He run and he bring a gold scale. He weighed the gold was 2 ounce and something. He said, what? Like I got left me job. Because the job that I doing right about now, he ain't paying because the people don't work in the back, don't getting more money. Because I got 3,700,000 and 2 ounces and something gold from me. All right, fine. I said, Bana, how you gotta do? You do your thing. If you want to left you work, you left you work. I said, but God give me this, and I thank God for it because I didn't thief it. I get it honestly. He walk, he think. Say, here on now. I want to take a picture, a video or something like that. Because me first time in the station, me not checking nothing, you understand? He said, I get a video. First time, before he take the video, he said, well, the money got pass first. He said, man, how much money I want, but I said, me could only give her 300,000. Yeah, I want 100,000 now, man. The man said, I don't want that. Man said, you work for 800,000. Yeah, thieves nearly come to me for 800,000 because I know I work for it, you understand? I said, Bana, watch, my auntie sick. And me want to go. You understand? Me never think of coming in this position here. I just coming home for my family. You understand? Because the first time me and all my whole self first time I ever come with too much money, you understand? Yeah. The man said, well, we got to work for 800,000. I said, well, here I'm now. I will give you the 800,000 and we got done. Having said said, well, we go get a statement or something for sign or what's the case mean? Nothing. You don't take no statement or nothing from me. When I go to give you money, you scram me money from me. Take me money. Because the money is 500,000 as slab. You take a 500,000. I say, man, wait, but I say, me got do me say, police not in the business. I say, all right, police not in the business, so you do your thing. You take out another 500,000 as slab on it, and he start count out. He take out 200,000 from the 500,000, and he take the, he say, all right, so now, listen what the police will tell you, and you say what the police will say. What the police tell you. You understand? He said about, the police knock you, you gotta say no. The police brutalize you, you gotta say no. The police thief for you, the police take any money for you, you gotta say no. And that's wrong, which I mean no is wrong. But for avoid problem, I don't want me to tell you, I don't want them things they say. I say, all right, officer, I go do what you say. And that is what I do. He put me in a corner, stand up, and I do exactly what he said. When he done, in the first place, before that, my auntie went in the room with me, the same room, because she's the witness. You understand? She went in the same room. When I come in, got one of them out of all of them. He still had the heart in me. He said, Bana, I'm not supposed to carry this lady in here. This lady sick, I don't see this lady sick. You understand? And when he said, the another one started talk, the man had plenty mouth, he started talk up. He said, oh, he is something for charity, police station, and he got a big one. Well, he said he's responsible for this, for the police station. I said, Bana, me not do nothing. Why you really want me money for? You understand? They put out the lady. They put she out. Yeah, because after me tell them about me, I give them the $100,000, man. They don't want to hear that. They want the 800,000, so they put she out. They say about, oh, she got go out. That is the one want me to, he had the heart and he put she out. And she gone outside. Anyway, they where they come and them count out your own money. They bring a goal scale, check the goal and everything. You understand? Plus, you want to take me goal to the side too. I said, man, watch how hard me work for this thing, and plus me coming for buy a lot, but it's a house lot I want, buddy. A house lot I want all the time. This is a renting house I'm living in. You understand? I said, man, this is the first time me get so much money that I could do something for my own self. You understand? I mean, tell you know, like what the goal is right there. I have the goal. I didn't touch a penny from it because I really want my house lot. You understand? And house lot in this time here is very, very dear. So that's the way you gotta get your things. You gotta save. What do you want to do? Thief it? Me don't want to. I want to go honest with the thing. And that was it. When the yard he said, well, young man, everything is good. You could go now. That's all. Even with the speed of the count, me even let me hot in the station and all kind of thing. Yeah, I tell you the truth. Me tell you know, like,
Identify any one of them?
yeah, I know all three of them.
You know them?
All three. Because I see them, I know them. Yeah, all three.
So all three these forces working at the police station?
Well, I don't really know because I tell you the first time I went in, but I know them. If me and I identify one or two, they got to identify the other one. They got to bring the other one because I know it. I know them. Yeah. You got one, and he's a tough fine man, but he got plenty more. He's the one pushing all this thing for getting money. Because they don't check, they even check to see, well, hey, you know what, let me see your ID card, let me see this or what's the case me. He just looking for the money he want. $1 million. How you take $1 million from a poor man like me to the side of working with you? How you take a poor money from me, buddy? I mean, me a thief it. Me have my partner, this partner work together with me to the side so he see the money we get. It's not just something that I thief. It's something that I get from the boss. You understand?
Work hard.
What? 4 o'clock, man, you get out your bed and then the water. It's not something easy. It's not something easy. And I do it because I got a family, I got children, I got to get somebody to put them on these days. You can't just live in a renting house all the time. It doesn't make no sense living in a renting house because the amount of money you got to spend in a renting house, you understand? You got $45,000 I pay for a month. And when you check that for the year, what's much money? So that is why I think I forget my own house lot. You understand? I mean, I want to do no fraud. This is I want to do it fair. Because me, the man, me I tell you, me in the best, but I will tell the truth. Because me, the man, I trust in one God. And that is the word I tell them when I walk to the station. I said, God, go make a way for me. You understand? Yeah, He go make a way for me. And me not tell nobody nothing but happen. So this man called me and tell me, I said, well, let's go like that. You understand? Because I prefer them go down to the side too. You understand? If me can't get back money, let them go down to the side too. You understand? Because you're right. You're right. Yeah, you're right. Because when you do you find a little mercury, you say that's against the law. Ah, it's fine. If I had to pay a fine for the mercury, I could have paid a fine for the mercury. The mercury is right there. I had the mercury. Everything I got. Everything. You don't find nothing illegal. You say mercury is illegal in this country. But I want to ask you a question. If mercury is illegal in this country, you understand? And if you're working fine gold, how you get your fine gold out of the mud? How you get it out of the sun? Yeah, but you don't use mercury in running water. You just dig a hole in the ground and then you use it. You understand? So I don't know why you don't take away money for. I don't know. It hurt me because I study about it all the time. Because 800,000 is plenty money for a poor man like me to say too. Who works for the family. Yeah.
You work hard for your money, and I don't think that is right.
Yeah, I mean, that is when me lie down, me go and lie down, me tell me come home, me tell me wife, I tell everybody, me auntie self, when me come, the time me walk out to the station, my partner was right there. Master, what are you doing in the station? Yeah.
So you were the only persons that they took money from?
No, I was not.
How many of you are?
It was about 7 or 8 away in the station. And then the rest, then the Brazilian, they get 2 Brazilians with a real big amount of gold. You understand? And they put them in a different room. And me is the only one that can in a different room for do what they gotta do. He's the only one.
You hear for yourself. You got to play these things so you could hear. I don't want to be able to relate it. Listen to yourself. Downright criminal conduct allegation. Allegation, mind you. Allegation of downright criminal conduct by members of the Guyana police force. I tell you, the force is out in crisis. And let me say this. Allegations are going to be made, right? Allegations are going to be made, right? But you know what they're going to tell us? OPR will investigate, and nothing more you're not going to hear. Nothing more. I don't even know if a report was made to them. This thing circulating, you want to tell me they see this and decide whether an official report was made or not, to try to contact this man and make sure they investigate this matter properly. The man said he can identify the people, and he's claiming a Charity police station. How many police there at Charity? These investigations ought not to be difficult. So I'm telling you again, more evidence of crisis in the police force. Don't forget, just less than 2 weeks ago, the police woman at Anna Regina, police, I think she's a lance corporal, alleged that she was assaulted by the detective sergeant because the detective sergeant claims that somebody stole $1 million. Listen to this carefully, man. Somebody said, the man is saying that he's alleging that somebody stole $1 million from his car, and he blaming the policewoman. So he went there. She alleged that he assaulted her. He chose her clothes in the yard. We saw the tape. I'm going to play it back now. Chose her clothes in the yard. What has happened? They told us OPR will investigate. He's under close arrest. And my sources told me that the very next day, the man was seen driving around the thing with his sweet woman or human and so on. But they're telling us that OPR investigated. Region 2, that's Region 2. Let me come further. Region 3. Y'all remember Adriana Young and Khalil Mandal, the assistant commissioner? The act or lack of action on the part of the police, trying to mislead the public that, oh, she gone up the road and so on. All these things are going on since he came to commissioner. And you want to tell me that the police force is not in serious crisis, and the government sit back and doing absolutely nothing? Yeah? Absolutely nothing. When allegations like these are made, I would believe that, again, as I say, it's allegation, but the government, the Minister of Home Affairs, the President, and all them would just jump on social media and talk and say, should make sure that a proper investigation is done and the people responsible are held accountable. But no, I tell you, they don't have no appetite for investigating anything to do with corruption. They have no appetite for investigating that. So Adriana Young, right? Remember that? Let me remind you to the same Region 3. And I ain't picking on no region. The evidence is there. A police sergeant from Breedenook Police Station was alleged to be the ringleader of some housebreaking gang. They tell me they put you under close arrest. They sometime last year. What more you hear about that matter? Have you heard anything more about it? A man beaten by people on the road, civilian, taken to the police station. He died in the police station. What has happened to that matter in terms of the ranks? First of all, you got to the scene, you're on duty, where a man is badly beaten. They handcuff him and carry to the police station. The man died in the police station with the handcuff on his hand. And any police with a little piece of brain would know that, hey, a matter like that, straight to the hospital for medical attention. Straight for medical attention. Portrait Harmony Police Station. A woman went there, a young girl went there to make some report or to something. Police raped her inside the room. Well, he charged her before the court. But how are these things taking? How are these things happening? They got supervisors in these places and so on. How these things happen? All these thousands of people that the president promote, each station should get tremendous supervisors, but you just promote them, so. Yeah, you get that. Let me tell you a couple more before I bring in CC. Let me tell you all. Guns missing from Albert Town Police Station. What has happened? OPR investigated, is still investigated. Guns and other exhibits missing from Covanjan Police Station. What happened to that? That is not so long ago. Prisoner dies in Covanjan Police Station. Jaja died in the police station. He was there for longer than 72 hours. He died. Ruptured in something, the doctor said. What happened to the, they said OPR investigating. Right at the Covanjan Police Station there too, we saw a video where a man taken it to the police station with some traffic offense, decided to record the police. When the police saw the man recording it, police took out taser and tased the man in the police station for recording him. We recently saw the man on the boat in the Arctic area. Police got a look like a stun gun, shocking the man. And what happened? Nothing. Yes, Claudine, at police headquarters, large quantity of cocaine turned to flour. Flour, baker shop business when the handing over was taking place. And you truly and honestly want to say that this police force is not in serious crisis? Some time ago, was sometime last year, Gail Teixeira and some right to say, oh, this police force is so respected, and that people in the Caribbean just tell them how they're trying to emulate. Other police forces emulate the Guyana police force and so on. That is what they're telling me. Let me give you next one. Blairmont police station. Man arrested was a man shooting a prisoner with shotgun. Luckily the man had a shotgun in the police station. Right? Don't forget the Linden story. Ronaldo Peters shot and killed by the police sergeant when he get charged with murder. Right? Kendall, you get charged with murder. But what key unfortunate who was shot and killed the next day? In June of last year, the head of the OPR, right? The head Baird told the nation, right, that the OPR had completed the investigation into Fortunet's killing, and the file will be sent to the Director of Public Prosecution for legal advice. That was June 2025. Into May 2026. What has happened? What has happened? I got one I can show you all the answer in case we get jug. We get jug. Porsche, that term. In case the jug we have the thing, at least the program would have already almost completed. You have all of these incidents, and you say the police force gone to the dogs. Literally so. Look, dog looking through the station there. Police force, and this is not some, I haven't told you all, we're saying it is evidence of a serious crisis in the Guyana police force. And the government, them you got to blame. The government, because of a lot of these people who involved are not doing anything, and they get promoted, they are rewarded for their incompetence and perhaps even corruption. They are rewarded. So yeah, police force gone to the dogs, man. Look, looking through the window there, dog on duty. Watchman, you watching out to see if anybody coming. That is what is going on. Now, I had a long stint. Let me bring in CC. I have more to talk about this. As I told you all, this is going to be the main issue for this afternoon. The fact that the police force is in serious crisis and they haven't done nothing. They retain. In all of this, they retain the man past the retirement age, promote it to commissioner, and keep it there forever and ever. So you can be there forever and ever. Amen. That is what they do. So obviously, they are comfortable and they are satisfied with the performance of the police force. Before bringing CC, let me say this. And this is the part that the decent policemen should understand. Not all policemen are corrupt. Not all. They have a lot of police, I know, who are competent, who are dedicated, and who follow the law. Many of them. The honesty cannot be questioned, many. But unfortunately, they seem to be in the minority. They seem to be in the minority. See, let me bring you in, man. I had a long go at it. But I think it was necessary for me to highlight these things because I sat and I said, there's not all. We have more evidence of the police force in crisis. Go ahead, my brother.
I know there's not all, and I'm going to give some more, and there's not all too. But I agree with you that they have some very good police, excellent police, honest, dedicated, and all kind of thing there. We had a case of Linden where they alleged that a special branch sergeant shoot a man in the foot and he lost a limb. We hear nothing but that. We talk about death in the lockups. Let them. They said the man hung himself with his underwear, his buckler. Perhaps he must get one of them slack buckler what that Jack Doodles talk about. You mentioned what Power Faith Harmony, yes. 51 police station. A man hung himself. Rumville police station. A man died in the lockups from gunshot wounds. We talk about missing firearms at the TSU, missing firearm at Alberton police station. You know what they do? Instead of they investigate, they give him a letter of approval for him to buy another firearm. Then we have things like, well, you mentioned cocaine and flour. Paul, you had a policeman get shot in his stomach. He had to go surgery to remove a bullet, and that was Power Faith Harmony. And this one here, Bobby's, the second in command, was involved in a fatal accident. The motorcyclist dead. Information is that he was a Saturday night that he was on his bar hopping activities, and that Saturday night involved in the accident. The cyclist died. Couple days afterward, he was twice, they transferred it to Region 7 as the commander. He was a superintendent then. He was a, and then shortly after, was it within a month or two, they promote him to a senior soup, still commander. You ain't hearing nothing but the fatal accident. You mentioned about Mandel. Mandel is now the second in command of operation. And Mandel get a history with him. During the Henry brothers, he was there. When those 20 students were killed or they were born to death at Madi, he was there. And then they had it there during the D-Day hotel fiasco. He was there, and now he's second in charge of operation, Second in charge of operation in the Guyana Police Force. Not second in charge of operation of a division, in the Guyana Police Force. I get a couple more bear with me. Sexual offenses we had in at the police training department. What they do? Transfer a couple of people, transfer women to Borbies to complete the training in an area that isn't suitable for training of female. And the promiscuity continues at that location. We had at Urgent 3, a traffic rank, sentenced to 9 months imprisonment. He served his time. He wasn't interdicted. He wasn't he wasn't dismissed. And after he completed his 9 months, he went to Region 1, Region 3 headquarters. And then they tell you, hey, whilst you've been in prison, we're paying you the money for the 9 months, and I got to pay back the money. We ain't know what more with the matter. Then you get same Region 3 too. Police chasing down a vehicle. That vehicle they're chasing down hit down and kill a man. Nothing more about it. Investigation into Fujide, a murder, and the crime chief Branham saying that the CID took no part in the investigation of the murder OPR. And that murder investigation should involve ballistics. And the CID is in charge of the ballistics section. But no, a murder and CID in investigating. In Barbies, about 2 weeks ago, a policeman got shot. They saw some by mistake or by accident. They've been on some drug runnings, and he own police duty. He ended up in a serious hospitalized. You won't hear anything but it. And these two big ones, they're really in crisis because there is no police service commission. The term finished last year May. No police service commission. And then no police complaints authority. The complaint authority died must be over near a year now, and there's no complaint authority. The body that's supposed to look at appointment, deal with disciplinary matters, and removal from office is not in force for over a year. And where people could go and make proper complaint outside of the police environment, the police complaint authority, there is no complaint authority. The man dying like the complaint authority die with him. And there are many more, but let me close off here for a while.
And people reminding us about that's what I love the students reminding. Now, right outside police headquarters, just to the east, just to the west there, about some manager got robbed $10 million. He said he going for deposit, and he claimed that they were people in police uniform. Let me understand, people in police uniform, I mean police, right? Don't be fair to them. But just west of police headquarters, right? Mark claimed that he got to deposit, make some deposit, and the money being rolled up, thief the money from me. Men dressed in police uniform. That was the allegation. And you want to tell me that the police force is not in crisis? Serious crisis. And remember the commissioner himself said they have problem in attracting and maintaining ranks. And despite the fact that they have a difficulty in attracting and maintaining ranks, every day you hear, well, I shouldn't say every day, that is overemphasizing the thing. Frequently wearing a new police outpost, say, a new police outpost there. Where you can get the ranks from for man, them police outposts? Where? The force is in crisis, serious crisis. They don't want to admit it. You know why? Because of us, the messengers, right? We are the messengers, and therefore then get time with the message. And having said that, then we get a little time. But messenger and message, let me play this tape. And again, y'all listen to the message. Forget who the messenger is. Forget who the messenger is. Listen to the message. This is another allegation of police brutality in Region 1, I think. Listen to this carefully.
And cover-ups under the PPP that are becoming too common in Guyana. Where there is an abuse of power, no accountability, and ordinary citizens are left at risk. When allegations of abuse are raised repeatedly and no meaningful action is taken, it suggests that some are above the law. And if this can happen today, then none of us can say we are safe tomorrow. You do not know who will be abused tonight or what the next day may bring. We are not safe under the PPP. Today, you will hear directly from Mr. Mark Rankin, who was arrested, beaten, and mistreated while in police custody in Region 1. His story raises questions about conduct, oversight, and accountability within the Guyana Police Force.
Good afternoon, Mr. Mohammed. Thanks for highlighting my story in Region 1, where 6 police officers brutally beating me, pull out my dread, my natty from my hair, lash me with a baton in my mouth, so I want a flint man in my teeth. Yeah, I do surgery 2 years ago on my tummy, where Constable Brown take the baton and lash me in my tummy. And from since then, I troubling with a inside body pain, internal body pain. I troubling with.
Let me see the surgery there. Oh my, all right, that's okay. Yeah.
From here to here. Yeah. And from since then.
Before we go to the police brutality.
Yes, sir.
What led to this? What caused this to happen?
I was at the bar in the afternoon. Me and one of my co-workers, he was lineman.
Okay.
So we was lineman, and he was on his phone. Not far from where I live, he was on his phone. And I tell you, when I turn and I see in the phone, I say, "There's my bro, man. Hold on. School is going on." He tell me to I go to I go school. Anyway, he say, "This is my broom thing." And the station starts and get catch with an underage girl at the Hostora Hotel. And that was what me and my friend was talking about.
Your own conversation.
Yeah. And the other police officer without uniform behind me. And when I was talking, he said, "What y'all talking there?"
What's the police name? What's the name of the officer?
He's an Armory officer, sir. Remember, I gone up there 6 months, and I really know them. My family end up
so what
telling
happened
me.
to the officer? What do you do now?
The officer said to him, "What y'all talking about there?" He said, "He talking what he seeing on the media. This is a global on social media." And that's what I'm telling you. I talk what he seeing. He said to him, "You know me, Zoo?" He said, "No, me know you, Zoo. You a civilian just like me." Because he never got no uniform, nothing. You see, a civilian just like me, brother. Right away, he said, "Oh, you Rasman, you got enough mouth." And he cuss. Right away, he said, "Watch it." He called. He said, "Bro, reinforcement." After like 5 minutes after, he see the white van come, the police van come. Yeah, then holding behind me pants. Like this here, so. Put on the hand for me. Show me in the van back. And no, I was not in the van back. You hear? And on the statement what the police officer give to OPR, then say I run away from custody. I was never run away from custody because
So
I was
throw you in the van
throw
back.
me in the van and my wife and everybody got it on camera to show the whole world. I ain't talking all like he come here so for satisfaction and facts and justice. That's why he come here so for
So when they throw you in the police van
when
now,
they show me the police van, none of them, all of them was in the front. Because in front and you got like 3 of them
Yes,
on the back
yeah.
and 2 of them on the front. There's 5 of them. And I alone was there at the back. You understand? And if I even want, I could run away from the police. But I choose not. When they take me to my Bruma police station, they pull me by me natty, look. They bust it. Brown bust me natty. You hear? 7 years. Bust me natty, right? But let me show you. Karma, what goes wrong comes around. I spray and I open the Psalms. I want the whole world to know what you're talking about.
so Mr. Rankin, you mentioned a knock out your teeth.
Yeah, they knock on me, the flint on me teeth here, so in the bottom, the same brown the can. Hold along me foot and taser me. 6 of them, and I know all of them, and if you got my bro with me, today, tomorrow, I'll show all of them. I identify all of them, sir.
These officers must be held accountable.
Yes.
So you telling me they arrest you just because you and your friend Lyman,
Good.
right, hold on, you and your friend Lyman at this bar, just, going through Facebook and you saw a post.
Yeah. I
about
want to know
Sergeant
that
Khan.
because my wife keep on telling why you arresting me husband for what you do and Anton now they can't tell me and my wife what I do. They can't get it and tell why I do.
So when they carry you to the station, explain what happened at the station.
When I came to the station, sir, when I came to the station, I was at the back, at the van back. They opened the front and I come out. Brown hold me by me natty and the next arm right now hold my natty and pull me by me natty and I pull me by me and carry me in the bar, the counter. When I came over there, they said to him, with the taser gun, you had enough mouth just now. I said, me had enough mouth just now. Me never give you all mouth. I talking the facts. That alone I talking. Them I said, the taser gun, Brown tell him, can with the button there. Can't give Brown the button. And Brown lash punch me in the mouth to the button, but watch. I like, when I go in the cell the night, when I show shy me in the cell the night, sir, I go in with handcuffs. Even to the inmates when they're in the cell frighten me because I said, why are you doing with handcuffs? I never see nobody come in handcuffs. An hour after,
So you're saying when you're in the cell, you still had the
handcuff on me. Plus, listen, that's not all. They tell me to take my back sores. They say, no, me got handcuff. Look me handcuff and I pull them. I got squat before me go in the cell. Anyway, you know what them pull on me back, sir, just sir. Without me permission, because that's me. That's me. They can never do me though, me saying and do that. Yeah, they pull on me back, so I say, what you doing for, them shine me, they say with the handcuff inside, and an hour after they lose the handcuff. And even the other a female officer was stationed in my room where she see all what I got through, and she gave a statement, and because she gave the statement, the commander for Region 1,
Ramana,
yeah, he located it to the next place, transfer to the next place.
This is what's going on in this country,
I talking
this is exactly
I don't
what's going on in this
think
country.
you vex lose.
Where is the Minister of Tints in all of this? Where is the Commissioner of Police? How can you arrest citizens at a bar just having a normal conversation? What is going on in this country? Where are we leading to? So you mentioned about the taser now.
The taser.
And a mark on your foot.
When I got to the when I come out of the same time, my wife bail me, the bail money, and I come out, I said,
how long you spend in the lockup?
72 hours, sir.
72 hours.
Yeah, when I come out the night, my wife bail me. I go and say, I gotta make a report against them police officer, right? I go I go on the I mean nobody the land.
No, I want to know just now. I want to know about the abuse. What you sent me some pictures, your wife sent some pictures.
Yeah, there was
your marks of violence all over your body. Tell us about the abuse.
The abuse was like drastic because All now, I suffering injury on my body, internal body. I suffering injury. And what them
So what
police
they
are,
beat you with?
a batting, taser gun, you know? Yeah,
6 officers.
yeah, and I was handcuffed and beaten too, you know? I was not like open handcuffed, beating, was handcuffed and beaten.
So you mentioned
Even to
something
my
about
hand.
a second degree.
This is a second degree burn where I got to the Mabruma, doctor from Mabruma. When I go and report to him, he tell me it's a second degree
So
burn.
when you went after you were released,
yeah, the same day release, with the release, I got he from the station here, the hospital right here. I'm going right down there and I'm show you what's going on.
you get a medical?
Listen, he told me, you gotta go to the police and say you want a medical. When I got to the police now, right, for this medical, then I want to take this statement what I got to give them, you know.
Against
Against
police
themselves.
abuse. Yeah.
Good. Anyway, the one what up on the thing, all right. He now sent me to traffic department. When I got to the traffic, you have traffic down there to him. When I got to the traffic, what? Go long back down, I carry it on the tape. Then he go long, he take what he want to take, and what me talk, half in a right in the book. What me talk, half in a right in the book, sir. My wife was there, my mother-in-law was there, family and friend was there to me. When I get released the day, because everybody there on camera, you know, for know that I talk.
So the
I see why I talk.
So the 6 officers,
yeah,
just my
yeah,
God, I can't believe this, buddy. So now, after the 72 hours, you went to the hospital. Did you get a medical?
Yeah, I received a medical, and the medical gone to the OPR, Officer of
And you
Professional
never hear back
Responsibility.
anything?
No, I never hear back nothing. What the officers them tell me when I come and take my statement, I'm at Broome Police Station, them tell just keep my ears open. All the time I show
And that was since November the 4th, 2025.
And we are in 2026, right? But now
6 months passed.
good. And I ain't seeing no justice. I ain't seeing nothing. I calling for justice. Why I feel like me talk to Mr. Mohammed because I calling for justice, and I calling for the bigger ones them to look into this matter. I was brutally beat.
Beaten for nothing, just having a
Just
conversation.
a conversation. And I was brutally beat. I was
How much
throwing
bail you
in the
had to pay?
vehicle. $100,000 bill, sir. I was paid. $100,000
Where
bill.
is Anil Nandalal in all of this? Where is the Attorney General? These are matters you should be speaking on. These are matters that you should call the Commissioner of Police and the commanders and investigate these things and let our citizens get justice.
And we want the U.S. ambassador for look into this whole issue with me and the police officer. Them, I really need the U.S. ambassador to look into this. You understand? If they go look into something else, they go look into this too. Because we is Guyanese and we stand as Guyanese. You understand? And I want to look into this.
What we are seeing cannot be dismissed as a single incident. It points to deeper concerns about leadership, oversight, and accountability within Region 1. Serious allegations have emerged involving the administration of the division under Regional Commander, Krishnath Ramana. We have been highlighting these for months and no action has been taken. Reports of excessive force used against the detainee resulted in significant injuries to Mr. Rankin. Concerns about interference in due process, including actions that may have discouraged or disrupted witness reporting. The female officer was transferred.
Yeah, transfer to a next
Ongoing
location.
scrutiny follows a financial investigation into an alleged 23.8 million fraud involving the same commander. Questions surround the handling of a separate incident involving a police riot.
To end it there was about a minute more, but that is the part you see the policeman come there with the rifle, and you're gonna start shooting. I don't want to show that to violate the platform protocols, right? So that is what That is why I cut it off. But you get the gist of what happening. All of these things going on. And according to this man's story, first of all, let me say, those who are on Facebook, I got a notice here from Facebook. And when they say we are having trouble streaming to Facebook, this may be an issue on Facebook's end. Is it possible that the stream was ended or deleted on Facebook? We'll keep trying to let you know if it is resolved. And they tell you to check Facebook. Some problem with Facebook. So those who are on Facebook are no longer seeing the stream. Right? Well, I'm gonna apologize even though we are not at fault. But you hear what this man's story? He and somebody there in a bar looking at the phone, which show the corporal in this compromising position with a teenage girl, this underage girl. And some police saw that. Police called the others, they come. The man is alleged that he was brutalized. 72 hours in the lockups. What was he arrested for? 72 hours in the lockups. What was he arrested for? And let me play this part before I bring in Mr. Conway. There's a piece of information I want to share with you. I can share it often. But listen to this.
Profit.
Here is what the law says. You absolutely have the right to know why you are being arrested. Article 139 of the Constitution of the Cooperative Republic of Guyana guarantees the right to personal liberty and requires that any person who is being arrested be informed as soon as reasonably practical of the reasons for their arrest. But what does this mean for you? It means that the police must inform you of the reason for your arrest promptly and in a language you understand. If you are not told why you're being arrested, this may form the basis of a legal challenge. You're entitled to retain and instruct a lawyer without delay. And if you're held without charge, you're entitled to apply to the High Court for a writ of habeas corpus. If your rights are violated, remain calm. Do not resist. As soon as possible, contact an attorney. Note the time, location, and names of the officers involved. Knowing this could protect you or someone you love against an unlawful arrest. Thank you.
Know your rights, people. Know your rights. And here, let me say this. We're not doing this because we are anti-police. We are not. We are not. We're trying to educate people, including the policemen. People have rights, even when a man commits the most dastardly act. You have certain constitutional protection, and police mustn't go about brutalizing people. How do you get the cooperation of the public, which is so vital for police work, if you have people treating people in this manner? And as you know, let me read this again to you all. This is the poem by Pastor Martin Niemöller. So far as they came for the communists, and I did not speak out because I was not a communist. Then they came for the socialists. I did not speak out because I was not a socialist. They came for the trade unionists. I did not speak out because I was not a trade unionist. They came for the Jews. I did not speak out because I was not a Jew. Then they came for me, and there was no one left to speak out for me. Come on, you got to talk about these things. We got to speak about these things. These things are wrong. And the sad part of it, as we have said repeatedly, that no proper action is taken, and that is why it continues, because no discipline act, no disciplinary action is taken against these errant ranks. And again, I say it's not all the ranks, but when you find them downright criminals, because the story narrated by the man with this gold story and the 800,000, there's criminal behavior. They're set out to go and target people and take away the money. There's criminal behavior, criminals in uniform. And I would have thought that Ikin and the crime chief, Blanham, and the Minister of Home Affairs, and the President, and the Legal Affairs Minister, Anil Landal, SC, MP, would want to make sure that these people are found and weeded out of the system. That is what you got to do. Robust investigation and get rid of these bad eggs. Because again, we say it's not all the policemen like that, but they're all tarnished when stories like this come to light. And let me tell you all too, remind you what GHK Lal said. What we have today is not a government, but a gang of gangsters. For the most part, what Guyanese have for leaders today are nothing but out of control lunatics, pathological liars, unreconstructed racists, and political sadists. That is what we have. That is what we have. Everybody now asking to feed from this trough. You know? So you hear everybody running here and they're running there. It's money, it's the hide money they're running to get. Right? So nobody ain't get no conscience now and loyalty and all them things. They're going where the money there. That is where the money is. And if the money is controlled by people who are corrupt, why do you think they would not go there? Let me play one more tape before bringing CC. One more before bringing CC. Listen to this.
What is kleptocracy? Have you ever wondered how some leaders seem to get rich while their countries struggle? This brings us to the concept of kleptocracy. So, what exactly is kleptocracy? Kleptocracy is a type of government where those in power use their authority to enrich themselves and their close associates. The term comes from Greek words meaning rule by thieves. In this system, grand corruption is common. High-ranking officials abuse their positions to steal resources meant for the public. In a kleptocracy, the ruling elite, often led by a head of state or a small group, control key economic sectors and natural resources. They exploit these assets to create wealth for themselves. This wealth is often hidden through complicated networks. These networks might involve offshore shell companies that help move money out of the country, making it hard to hold these leaders accountable. Kleptocrats often reinvest their ill-gotten gains into
Yeah, that is enough for the kleptocracy for now. I see CC is back in. He was thrown out. Let me bring him in to give his closing, and we're gonna. Time flies when you're enjoying yourself, right? CC, welcome back. Let me hear your closing, my brother, and whatever other comments you want to make at this time.
Well, I wanted to talk a bit about that arrest there, and that police got to be careful. Some police believe they get a God-given right that they got to hold people for 72 hours. Now, I want to read a bit on there's a Bail Act 2022, and the talk about police bail here. Section 4.1 says, when a person is taken into custody for an offense without a warrant, a police officer, and here it is, if it's not practicable to bring the person before a magistrate within 24 hours after the person is taken into custody, inquire into the case, and A, if the offense is not one punishable with imprisonment, shall grant the person bail with every convenient speed. And B, if the offense is one punishable with imprisonment, may, unless the offense is a serious offense, grant that person bail as soon as practicable. And I remember he was an investigator, a station sergeant, a sub-division officer, a prosecutor, a commander. Here are the points I used to consider before granting bail. 1. Gravity and nature of the offense. 2. Weight of evidence. 3. Status of the accused. 4. You ask the question, will the granting of bail defeat the ends of justice? 5. The Constitution. 6. The laws. And you're guided by your conscience, number 7. So the thing is that you are not supposed to keep nobody for no 72 hours. The Constitution says after 72 hours, you got to go to the court. You got to go to court. But according to the Bail Act, as soon as practicable, and if within 24 hours you can't think as soon as send the person on bail, you can get a man in there for 72 hours, and you don't give no charge at the end of the day. If you want to keep it longer than 72 hours, you have to apply to the High Court for an extension. And the police should read the Bail Act, Read the Bail Act. And the Bail Act costs $1,560. $1,560. I have a copy here. And it's Bail Act number 21 of 2022. And this is what they should be guided by, the Bail Act and by the Constitution. So all the things were played out there in region number 1. Well, I'm not surprising. Because remember, Ramana did tell a woman, like, hey, that she put you on arrest because she tells your client you get a right to remain silent. And he did tell you before that counsel got to get counsel, And partly they arrest you too, are illegal. I think the matter is still pending before the court day. So that's all I need to say at the moment.
Right, thank you, my brother. Thank you. We have a afternoon well spent. Students, again, for those who are on Facebook and get knocked out, well, that is how the cookie crumbles sometimes. And I'm reminded by one of the students when we talk about the crisis in the police force. The man who is now the commissioner of police, and CC, you know this well. At one time, he was alleged, Green was the commissioner of police. He was alleged to be driving the car of a known drug man. He going to work in police headquarters with a car belonging to a drug man. And when he was confronted, I remember as Mirai point out to Green, look, you see them car out there? It's your PSC, and this man, they can drive in them car. And when he was confronted, he said, well, yeah, he's driving the car, but you don't know that the man is a drug man. That is what he said. In fairness to him, he did say that he had no. But you're a senior officer, you're driving some man fancy car, you don't know the background to the man. You know, you should know. Right? So you have all of these things. So what do we expect? You want to tell me the president and all them know them things? What type of due diligence they would have done when they decide for appointee commissioner? Past the retirement age. And then they'll go and make all sort of justification for appointing me and all them things. Even if, and I'm not saying, if for argument's sake you want to say, the law allows you to do that, you not check conduct. You not check conduct, right? To see if this person is suitable, if the person has the knowledge, if the person has the moral character to enter an important organization like the Guyana Police Force. No. And so therefore, when you have all of these